Did you did you ever grow up eating canned food like Chef Boyardee or those kinds of things?
Chef Boyardee, but like in the Philippines, Spam was a thing, and so was what are they called? Vienna sausages.
Oh, the little wieners.
Little weenies. I never liked those because the texture was weird for me. But I'm still a big fan of Spam to this day.
That's fair.
Not much by way of like the pasta stuff though.
Yeah.
That when I finally tasted that when we moved here, I think that's just one of those things you have to grow up with because I could not stand it.
Yeah. Well, we grew up on occasionally. Well, I don't even know if they were SpaghettiOs.
Yeah, SpaghettiOs. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's Chef Boyardee. Maybe it is.
Maybe.
I just remember SpaghettiOs because everything that I hate about pasta is in that can.
Super squishy.
Yes, and super soupy. That's why I don't like soupy stuff.
Okay.
I don't like squishy, gross, overly soft pasta, and then little hot dog chunks that are like just like not. I don't even know how to describe. My name is Eli. This is the Film to Table podcast, the side cast of Top Shelf Video Podcast, and
this is Denise. Hi.
Okay. We just got home from watching. How do you say his name? Zach.
Cregger.
Cregger's. Weapons. Yep. And I think we have to talk about it because we haven't talked about.
It's been a minute.
We've been very busy.
Yeah.
And I know we wanted to do this after we saw. What was the other one that we saw this year? The Australian guys that.
Oh, talk to her. Oh no, bring her back. Bring her back. Yeah, the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we
meant to. I think
we tried recording something in the car, experimental. It didn't work, so I didn't bother. I couldn't fix the audio, but it's fine.
That one was good though.
It was really good, and the only reason I bring it up is because I was mentioning to you in the car how, for whatever reason, I kind of get the guy who did Barbarian and the guys that did Talk to Me. I get them sort of like cross confused. I don't know if it's just because like of their age or kind of their backstory or whatever.
I kind of see it. Their first movies came out probably similar time.
Yeah, I think it was like a similar window,
but
but
not too far from each other.
They were also both the new voice of horror.
Right. Kind of out of nowhere almost. Because they weren't really known for that.
Right. The two Australian kids were like YouTube like phenoms. And then Zach Cregger was...
The whitest kids you know.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious.
Which makes kind of sense in watching this movie. I guess let's just... Before we spoil it, because we have to probably talk spoilers.
We're going to spoil it. Let's
just go high level.
Okay.
I guess if people wanted to...
Well...
kind of watch it. It's kind of funny because we avoided trailers.
Yes.
I think we actually did a pretty good job of avoiding.
We saw like a teaser a while back, and then I think we were immediately like, "Oh, it's the dude from The Barbarian. We're just gonna watch it."
But also, I think their marketing group also did a really good job of basically showing the same trailer and not
over and over. Yeah,
not showing anything beyond that, and I think that was good. So. Weapons, which came out this year, actually last week.
Last week, yeah. As of this taping.
Yeah, as of
Are we still saying taping?
Sure.
Recording.
As recording live to tape. But so this came out last weekend. It already made a butt ton of money.
Yeah, people are going on and on about how crazy that is, I guess.
Yeah. And so this is the follow-up to Barbarian. Let's see. IMDb just... let me read this real quick because I want to make sure... Yeah, well, I guess it's on the cover, so that's fine. So IMDb has this listed as when all but one child from the same classroom mysteriously vanish on the same night at the exact same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind this disappearance. 2 hours and 8 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of summarizes it. It's kind of would you say it's sort of like one of those we listened to that podcast Radio Rental, and they always tell like the creepy stories. What's the name of like the thing that sort of always you had mentioned to me? It's like, oh yeah, this sounds like a something from like, I guess, like certain threads or
creepypasta.
Yeah, creepypasta. That's what like
I can see
Radio
that.
Rental is, and I feel like that's kind of what this movie is.
Yeah. Creepypastas, yeah.
It I mean, I think that description is pretty dead on. Like, it's a mystery movie.
Yeah. Well, it starts with it's a mystery. Yeah.
It's very much a mystery movie. It's not a horror movie in its traditional sense. It is definitely a horror movie though.
But you don't really find that out until you're deep into the movie, because for a good chunk of it, it almost felt more like a true crime.
Yeah, I was about to say it seemed to kind of lean into this like a Netflix special of like, and then it was a town and and then this happened, and then like the episode, like the series starts, and then they tell you the whole story, and the movie was even broken up that way.
Yeah, it's told in different point of views, which I did not expect, and I actually super enjoyed that device.
Yeah, I did not expect that either.
Yeah,
if you're not a fan of that style of movie making, sorry.
Honestly, it's probably a good thing that it's not used very frequently, because when it is used, it's really hard to kind of rein it in.
Yeah.
Obviously, like kind of in the style of I guess what Rashomon probably started it. By Kurosawa, but like, it's the point of view, like telling the same story through different people's eyes.
Right.
But I thought it was a great device. Some bits of it didn't necessarily lead anywhere, but I don't know. It still kind of enjoyed the ride.
It feels like, you're right. Like some of it didn't lead anywhere, but it adds to the level of like,
kind of though.
You kind of need the whole picture, but then also the whole picture isn't always needed to sort of tell this whole thing. It just adds a little bit more texture to things. Very much like you were saying, like one of those true crime shows, because like a lot of times you're like, okay, so and that guy sucks.
What?
Like,
right.
Great. What is that actually?
Or like, why are we focusing on, this red herring?
And they had this and then they have like a little tiny piece of the story, and then you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's why we had them in here.
That's it.
Yeah. But then this is layered, and it's definitely, I would say, mystery, because you, much like the people in the movie, are just trying to understand, like, what's happening? What is happening?
Yeah.
This doesn't seem normal. Everything's somewhat grounded in a pretty...
It's pretty realistic. It feels like one of those, like you said, like in a true crime documentary, like, oh, it was a small town, like any other town.
Right.
Little sleepy town, nothing ever happened. Never lock your doors, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it definitely has that feeling of like, oh, you probably have seen a neighborhood like that. Or you probably know somebody that lives in a neighborhood like that. So it's very... it definitely has that tone of like, nothing bad's going to happen here. Why would it? And so when it does, it's like super shocking.
It also had a very creepy... I think I remember when I told you when I for work was traveling up to Maryland a few years back. It was before the pandemic. And I remember I remember telling you, it's like the hotel I was staying at was not too far from the office that I was going to be working at for that week. And I had a really bad headache the first night I got there, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go walk. I went down to the front desk and I asked, like, do you guys sell any aspirin or anything? They're like, no, but there's like a grocery store like just down the street and you can walk there. And it's like, okay, cool. And so I walked there, but what's different between Texas and areas like that is like, there's a lot of trees and it's very dense. And at night it gets very dark. Light has nowhere to travel because it's that dense with trees. This movie kind of like gave me the heebie-jeebies, because I don't know where this was filmed, but wherever it was, there were a lot of trees. The houses are kind of like, I don't know how to describe the houses other than they were like the what do you call it? Who was the guy that directed 16 Candles and John Hughes?
John Hughes.
It had a little bit of a John
I can
Hughes
see that.
like home aesthetic of like,
Yeah.
and I actually think there were some nods to John Hughes, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
Very loosely, but
Yeah.
I only say that because, like I said, like seeing the houses, like the house is set back on a lot, and then it's surrounded by trees, like dense.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And here in Texas, it's not really a thing. Like we're too new down here, and we're not.
Yeah, it's not really.
We're not in the Northeast.
Not those kind of trees don't necessarily grow around here. Not in that kind of density.
Well, yeah, and I think like up there, I'm assuming somewhere in the Northeast, it's more like you build houses around the trees, not so much like here where you pull down the entire forest and you just make a lot and you just put up houses. So like it's more uniformed. But there's something about the aesthetic of that. And you see it in a little bit in the trailer. It made it extra creepy. Like it doesn't like basically like the neighborhood streets don't look like a straight street. There's a little bit of a curve and a wind to it. And it looks like they had to build the neighborhood around that sort of vegetation and things like that. So whenever you look down the street or in any given direction, it doesn't always have a line of sight. And I think that added a level of sort of creepiness to this movie.
Yeah, and there were like little hills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Weird little cul-de-sacs. It felt like an older neighborhood. It felt like you're saying, not planned on a grid or anything, just kind of one of those things that just kind of sprang up.
Yeah, which I think adds a lot to this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And the houses,
it feels lived in.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a set or anything like that.
It doesn't feel new.
It's actually super effective. I thought it was super convincing. And it's funny because coming back from the theater, driving home in the dark, I just like when we come into our neighborhood, I was looking around like, oh shit, it's going to be some weird little kids running down the street with their airplane arms out. Yeah, like that was kind of creepy. Actually, it was super effective in that sense because it felt like kind of any suburbia.
Yeah, that was a very nice, interesting aesthetic choice. And again, that's not spoiling anything. It's on the cover of the poster, and if you see the trailer, like you see the kids doing that.
Yeah,
like I really like I don't know who made that decision, whether it was the director or like the art directors or like whoever, was in the discussion of like, let's have these kids do something that in any normal circumstance would be like, oh, look, they're having fun. Haha, you do it at 2:17 in the morning. It's like, what the fuck?
like all at once at the same time.
Yeah. It's frightening, or it's just very unsettling.
Yeah. Super creepy
to see that. Oh, it's interesting. It was filmed in Atlanta, Georgia. Which I guess kind of applies, yeah. Sorry. Because it's very old.
I mean, it's an old city.
Yeah,
also.
it's an old area of the country. But yeah, I guess before we get into the meat of it and the spoiler part, it has Josh Brolin, and he was also an executive producer, so he must have like.
I swear he keeps busy. I don't know what his agent does, but he's
got that Marvel money set.
A little bit and everything these days.
I don't think he's worried about too much money these days.
Man, he's working.
No, I know.
He's in everything.
But I think I was happy to see that he was an executive producer on this.
Yeah.
Because that makes me think, at least I think, I don't know, that he either read the script and was like, I want to see this movie get made. I think it's cool. I can help by putting my name on this, both as an actor and like financing this movie a little bit.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, that's an interesting choice. Like everybody in this movie, I don't remember the name of what's the name of the actor that plays the teacher?
Julia Gardner.
Yeah. She fits an aesthetic, or like, I don't know. She fits in a world, and maybe it's just because like, Thanos has been in so many Thanos like blockbuster. Like, I mean, he's in Dune, and he's in Thanos, and he's in
Deadpool.
Yeah, he's in Deadpool. Like, I mean,
he's in everything.
He's in everything. But not to say that he's like an A-class actor, but I guess maybe for me in my brain, I see him as like Thanos and those those big
The big
blockbuster
budget movie.
right?
Yeah.
And so to see somebody like Julia Garner and like some of these other actors that were in here, like the guy that plays Paul, the cop in this movie, like they have like a certain aesthetic that it like I like seeing those sort of like, I don't want to say no name actors, but actors that they're not
huge yet.
well, it's not even so much that they're huge yet, but like Josh Brolin comes from a line of, I mean, his dad was
right.
What's his face? The Father Brolin. But there's something about like the chiselness and like he looks like a Hollywood star.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Whereas like these other actors, they look more relatable.
They have a more unique look.
Right.
Yeah,
they look like people that we would hang out with.
Right.
I don't think we would have any Josh Brolin friends.
I see what you're saying.
Not because we don't like Josh Brolin.
It's like a different world. Like
yes.
He moves in the Hollywood world. Like
right.
Definitely for
sure.
I
mean, he's got his physique, everything.
Yeah.
And so at first I was kind of like, why is Josh Brolin in this movie? Like,
it's funny that they covered him up in like sweaters though. So
yeah.
that, like, forget about him being super buff.
Super cut for like a 60-year-old man. But regardless, like as the movie kind of, went on, it actually kind of settled and I was like, you know what? I kind of buy him in this role now for some reason. Like
he was really good in it.
No, and that's what I was kind of leading to is like all the acting in this was like
great,
really good,
top notch. Honestly,
I can't think of anybody who stuck out. Like even like Benedict Wong, who was I didn't realize he was in this.
Yes,
until he just showed up in the movie. I was like,
oh,
what is this other like Marvel guy doing here? Like,
oh shit, I didn't even think about.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I always remember him from what was the Netflix show that we watched?
Genghis Khan.
Well,
it was technically Marco Polo, but he played
he played
Genghis Khan.
Yeah,
and he was great.
Yeah.
That show was amazing. Everybody was great except like it's funny because you watch it's like
except
I care about everybody except Marco Polo.
Yeah, fuck that guy. But yes, anyway, like all the acting was really good. Which I feel like was obviously very important because and I mean we're before we swap over to the dark side of spoilers, like it is definitely a slow burn, but it is I think it's important to understand that it's a mystery. Yeah. And so it's not a horror in that traditional sense. It's not action or whatever. So it has to take its time to unfold. Yeah. The same way that like you were saying a true crime. They don't want to.
They're not going to tell you, oh yeah. Anyway, this guy's in prison.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, the acting was really good. I feel like the cinematography was.
I mean, honestly, like it was so fun to watch. It was so well filmed, and it did a couple things that I don't know, like it feels so unique. Like kind of the framing was really close and tight in a lot of places to where it's like you're feeling like I want to turn my head because what's happening next. The focus on it was actually like really good. I enjoyed the film, like the film aspect.
Right. I it's funny when they say like, oh, these are the new voices of horror and this and that. And I would love to like hear more from some of these people on like the collaboration between the cinematographers,
yes,
and like the directors and the choices that are being made because like you're right, there were some I don't know, like I'm trying to think of the word, very subtle but noticeable things that they were doing that were very disturbing for some reason. Like,
oh, interesting.
Like they were kind of like off-putting, but in the right way that like you were saying, they use like focal lenses that are very like tight. Mm-hmm. So, like a longer lens that makes the area on the screen smaller. And so you get more, you're viewing more of like the people in that, which is why the acting had to be really good. Cause
real tight.
There's a lot where that's just put on the actors. And they have to carry a lot, and it's not just, like horror for the sake of horror. But there were like certain scenes like in the the scene in the liquor store early on when the teacher goes in there, there was something about the camera movements that were really like
Oh, that's
weird.
interesting. Okay.
They were using clearly like a steady cam, but like it's like they purposely had her like, okay, you're gonna walk down this aisle and then you're gonna make a hard like military right turn and a hard military left turn. Like she had this very like poignant I'm gonna go find this particular liquor, and as she did it, the camera was like lagging behind her in a way that it was like, it's almost like we were like, the camera almost made it feel like something's gonna pop out at you, but it's not, and it's staying on her, but it's tracking her. It's tracking her in this weird sort of like, I don't want to say animalistic, but it's like you're not taking your eyes off her, but the movements were very strange, and it made me feel like I can't describe it other than like slightly uncomfortable. Of like that's not how you would do that with a camera, but also like it works, and it almost felt like a little additional unsettling.
That's interesting.
And they did that a couple times later in the movie as well, where there was like the camera's like right dead. It's almost like dead center. It wasn't like too high or too low. It was like, it was very like flat to the person and almost like eye level. And so like, however they were able to keep the camera at like a very specific level and not break that, it made for this very like strange linear sort of motion that you could only sort of mimic with like maybe a tripod or a dolly. I don't know. It's very technical, but I really liked it. But like I said, I liked it in the sense of like, I noticed it and was just kind of like, oh, that was weird. Like that's, it was like a weird thing for my brain to see and process and then be like, I like that, but that's, it also like.
But like you would never think to do it.
Not even think to do it, but like, it's almost like the expectation is something different.
Right.
And so whatever it is that they were doing, it added to, like I said, the uncertainty of everything that was happening. There's some other scenes where they kind of do that, but then that's going to lead to spoilers. So I don't want to say anything just in that yet. But was there anything else that, like the audio? I think the audio
was interesting. I don't know if it was. I feel like probably it was intentional. But you notice how even like when there would be ambient noise, and then it would cut out. But it wasn't really during specific times. I don't know. There would like be periods of silence, like complete silence, like without any ambient noise.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really strange because it almost felt like a mistake. But I know it was like almost like recalibrating to like, okay, the focus is going to be over here now.
Right.
Like it was a really interesting way to go about it. Because there's no way, right, with a budget of film this big
it's
and like with the production, but it almost felt like a mistake because then your ears are straining harder when it's like because it feels like you dropped the sound, so your ears are straining harder. Like, okay, am I missing something? Did it drop out or what? Like, what's going on?
Well, it's to me it almost felt like it's like the audio trick, the same way that the camera would do, not necessarily in this movie, but the way that camera will usually do prepare you for a jump cut,
right,
or like a jump scare where someone opens like a refrigerator door and you're like, okay, someone's gonna be right behind that door.
Totally.
But it's almost like they did that, but with audio. Because it's like
did a whole. I don't know that they did it during like a scary moment.
Well, that's the thing. They would do it leading up to what you thought was going to be a scary moment. So it's almost like the person on the screen was starting to intensely focus on something, and then like the audio almost kind of like drowned out because we're also focusing really hard with the person on the screen, like there's one scene through the newspaper in the window. It's like she was focusing, and so then we're all focusing, and we're so focused that like the audio dropped out, and then it's like it's like there's this anticipation of like something's gonna break this silence.
Something's happening,
right? And I guess from a comedy standpoint, and this is this is maybe me looking a little too far too into it, right? But if it was like a comedy sort of thing, it would get like super quiet and everybody would sort of really focus and it would just be like super quiet. And then you would just hear like a fart, sort of thing. And then it's like a comic relief, right? But that tension is there. I feel like that's what this was, but in the other direction, because like those scenes were already set up to like, okay, something's going to happen and we're all like on edge because we're focusing, looking for clues on the screen. The person is looking for clues and we're so just dialed in that like we can't even hear anything sort of thing. I thought it was interesting. I'm glad you pointed that out because that happened like a couple times.
Because after, I don't know, the second or third time, it's like, oh, that's intentional. That wasn't me just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, because at first it felt like, oh, is something happening? And then like, oh, the scare happens.
Right.
But yeah, like the more it's done, it's like, oh, okay, this is a thing that they're doing. Yeah. And I thought it was really interesting because it made you kind of sit up and pay attention.
Yeah.
I feel like
that's it. I mean, I think that was exactly the point.
Yeah.
Like, and I think, like I said, same way that a camera will do that in those other scenes where like, why would you go in there in the dark? Why don't you turn on the light?
Focus.
Why don't you do this, do that? And like, this was a similar trick. But it's interesting because I can't think of too many movies that do that. Maybe some older, like, there are some older movies that maybe do that. And when I say older movies, like sometimes even like your classic horror movies, like from like the 60s or 70s, like the Changeling or something like that, where it's very like intentional to do that kind of stuff.
Like using the silence just as much as the noise and the music. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like all around from a just pure craft standpoint, this movie is like, I mean,
it's a fun watch.
Shit.
It's a fun watch. It's been a minute that I've had like, I don't know. It was just really enjoyable to watch. As far as like the scares and the just how it's all the craft behind it.
The intensity, is really like ratcheted up in a way that is like something that, like you were saying, really haven't we haven't really seen in a while.
Yeah.
But also is like super great. Before we jump to our spoiler part of this, I was just logging on to Letterboxd. I know we talked about how last year was like maybe one of our favorite years in horror movies. And I tag all my stuff on Letterboxd with like, favorites of that particular year. Last year I marked 30.
30.
And this
all
year...
All horror?
No. Like,
just in general.
Just in general.
Got it.
This year I have 15 marked.
Okay.
So half of that.
Okay.
And it's August.
It's August?
So
we might catch up depending on what's...
what? I was going to say, like, it's not... In our minds, it has not been as much of a burner of a year.
Yeah.
But I think in reality, as when we get back to like a retrospect for this year, I think we're actually going to be a little surprised. Like,
by how much?
By how much, because there's been a quite a few like real winners here. So
there's also a couple of things we just straight up missed in the theater.
Yeah, we may have to come back around.
Yeah,
to some
we haven't
of them,
really caught up with a lot of them,
which we may do like this fall. But
sure.
All right, well, let's get to, I don't know, we can make the beep sound like from this point forward.
Well, you just did.
Yeah, this point forward, spoilers. So if you've seen it, hang out with us. But if you haven't, then...
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. Okay. All right. It was the aliens. The aliens did it.
Damn it. Again.
Okay. So I'm very curious. I mean, obviously, we've been wanting to record in a while, but it's been a minute where you just turned to me and said we need to record right after this. I mean, we've just been busy, but it's a school night, which is it's fine.
That's true. That's true.
But do you have thoughts on like what was trying to be said here? Like what? Or is this just Oh man, it's just some crazy voodoo that's going on in this movie.
Okay, so I have so many feelings.
All right.
Okay, maybe not feelings necessarily, but just thinking about it was just such a enjoyable movie for me. Like, I don't know, I feel like maybe I was a target audience for this
Sure.
movie because of all these compelling parts that it put together that I wasn't necessarily looking for. And it just shows up, like we were just talking about the fact that, yeah, it felt like a true crime mystery. The fact that, what else? Oh, the multiple point of views. I ended up really loving that concept. Just all of these really kind of fun things to watch. And then I know we're doing spoilers now, but then to put that all together and it ends up being something about witchcraft. Yeah, no, it was just super fun. I don't know, like I just had such a good time because of like the scares were really good, really effective. It got me a couple times. The tension ratcheting was really clever and really well done, and you never really knew what was gonna happen. It wasn't really like necessarily predictable. Yeah, I don't know. There was just something about it I really liked. Like I said, it almost feels like it was like I was the target audience for it. I feel like it's funny because I was trying to think of it how to say this in the car on our way home, but the witchcraft thing I thought was such a great angle. It was such a fun kind of reveal, because I think it also it's almost like it speaks a little bit to kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but there's a certain and anyway, like the capitalists have gotten
Sure.
a hold of witchcraft, right? Because it's a cute little trendy thing now to be like, oh, I feel like a little not part of the norm girly girl, so
Right.
I'm gonna look to which you know, I can't say that I hate on it because I'm kind of like, oh, I like this little sticker that says witchcraft too.
Sure.
So I'm not immune to it. But I think a lot of that kind of making it kind of cutesy and widely accepted and not a weird thing, I think it really takes the teeth out of what witchcraft initially was feared to be.
Right.
Which, you know, not to say that that's you know, like a bad thing, because obviously if you're scared of witches, you're just scared of women, and then they burn women for that. So to just beyond all that political nonsense, I think just the lore and the history, well, not history, but the lore
Right.
behind like really dark magic witchcraft,
Right.
I think like has lost a lot of its teeth. And it's similar, I feel like,
Well, like with the vampires.
yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that it occupies the same part of my brain that's like vampires used to be really cool and animalistic and terrifying, and then shit like, you know, Interview with the Vampire comes out, and then Twilight, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe vampires are kind of hot.
Right.
When really, back in the day, the you know like
They were feared.
they were
Yeah.
feared. They were terrifying, and they were monsters.
Right.
And I think similarly, and granted, like I said, obviously historically, witches were just used as excuse to like persecute women and like misogyny, etc., etc. I mean, hopefully we all know that, and that's not okay.
Right.
But just speaking in like culturally, the lore of witches, I feel like there's nothing wrong with saying they were terrifying as a concept.
Yep.
Not in reality, because obviously they're not real. Nobody should persecute women just because they look kind of weird and they do weird things, obviously. But just the idea in horror and in lore
Right.
that witches are supposed to be terrifying.
No. It what you're saying makes 100 and or to go with the current times. What you're saying makes like 15,000% correct, because like it's funny, yeah, the commercialization of like witchcraft in that sense is funny to me, because I grew up during the Satanic Panic and everything that was like, oh, like that shit's bad, and you know,
Yeah.
let's, you know, take it all away until there's money to be made.
And now it's fine.
And now let's make sure that our stock prices go up and that we sell this
Right.
product or whatever. So I 100% would agree with you. And it's almost like it's almost like it is a cool like way of like, we want our witches back, or we want our things back,
We
right?
want the scary stuff back.
Right, because
there's a reason they existed, and maybe whether it's just to tell a cool story,
right.
but I think there's something to be said about like you maybe should be afraid of women. What about that? That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, as witches. Yeah. I
Right.
mean, it's so okay. I'll get in a little bit into what I guess maybe as I'm getting older and when I think about my own like stories that I'm writing and things that I do for myself, I always feel like it's important I think for people that execute these things really well. It's like, what story are you trying to tell, right? Like I think a lot of times it's very easy to get lost in just saying like, oh, it'll be a cool supernatural movie and the kids will be creepy and people are going to love it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's putting a lot of,
Assumptions.
yeah, it's putting a lot of assumptions to play of like, oh, if we make kids look creepy doing this thing,
That should be enough.
that should be enough.
Yeah.
But what is it you're trying to say? Like, what is like the deeper meaning to a lot of this? And I feel like movies like this, I think can do that very well. Like, or at least they go out with like a mission statement of like, let's not lose sight of like, we're trying to tell this story, right? Or we're trying to tell this, like this message or, you know, kind of whatever. And so I feel like there was something in this movie that I feel like, and I think it's a stretch when I say, you know, what I feel like this movie is trying to mission statement wise, but I feel like it was that. And then they layered it with, like you said, with the flavor
Totally.
of like witches or whatever. And because I very much feel like, it's kind of funny because like when I was saying like, I thought Josh Brolin in this was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, why is he in this? But then it turns out, like, as the movie progresses, it turns out he's kind of the, what do you call it? The conspiracy theorist guy. Like, he has very, like, the way that everything's sort of labeled, or the way it's sort of presented to us, right? Like, he is a construction builder. He's like the foreman for a business that probably makes good money, and this kind of stuff doesn't happen to me. And
Right.
because of that, there's always an answer to every problem. And so when he's the first one and the biggest to make the noise of like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
This shouldn't happen. We're all like smart adult people. And so it must be something else. Like, and so
It must be someone.
it must be someone. And then it sort of leads into this conspiracy theory, right? And then you have this teacher who's like kind of, I guess you could say like current generation of just oblivious to everything and just like wants to be a teacher, just wants to kind of be left alone and doesn't understand like doesn't fully understand the responsibility of being a teacher because it sounds like her past and some of the things that were involved were like,
just kind of naive and
yes, like, hey, you can't save the world. But when things go bad, the world just comes crumbling down on you and like,
right.
and is very crushing. And so like you were saying, this different point of views for different like people, I thought was interesting because it's like, we're seeing like this generational, like sort of
That's interesting.
difference
I didn't even think
between
about that.
everybody.
Yeah.
And it made me think like, oh, that's interesting because
You're right.
we're getting a story from these types of people.
Yeah.
We're getting a story from these types of people.
Yeah.
And then
And then you even get one from the kid.
the kid, which really we're getting the kid, but also like the aunt.
Yeah.
So, I guess to run to the spoilers, basically, yeah. So the kids run out and then it's like, and we're getting narrated by a kid, right? I don't even know who
Initially, it doesn't say who it is.
Yeah.
But in the very beginning, the narration is by a kid.
yeah. And tells us about the story and what happens. And at first I was like, this seems like a very, what do you call like an urban legend? That's why I felt like a creepypasta.
Oh,
to me.
you're right. That's a
It
good
was
point.
like, hey, this thing happened, and then it just kind of resolved
And then
itself,
it-
and
and then the end.
nobody has talked about it since.
Right.
And so it feels very like urban legend from that standpoint because of the whole like Like, oh,
Yeah, like we heard about these kids,
but
and
we don't actually know if it
we don't-
happened. Nobody talks
yeah,
about it anymore.
right.
And it's just like a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the kids run out. And then everybody blames the teacher. It's like, oh, well, the teacher clearly knows something. What happened here? And then the FBI gets involved. The local police get involved. Everybody's trying to figure out, like, okay, what the hell happened? These kids just ran off. And then, like, you're able to see all this, like, on Ring cameras and, like, I guess security footage.
Yeah.
And so these kids have been missing, I guess, for, like, I don't remember if it was, like, months or a month.
I think it's maybe a month.
Okay, it was about a month.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very odd. And so it turns out, like, as the movie progresses, as we're seeing, so how does it go? We start with the teacher's point of view.
Teacher's point of view.
Who was Justine.
Justine.
So we see everything from her point of view, which she's a drunk, or she's driven to being a drunk because of the stress of the situation.
Insinuation was that she'd had some alcohol type
issues
like
in the past.
Yeah, in the past.
But she was also dismissed from her prior teaching job.
Yeah.
For overstepping their bounds, which was like
it sounded like maybe she had an affair with another.
Oh, that's
teacher.
right, with another teacher, yeah.
But also she had a DWI at some point.
Right.
So just one of those like young people idiot kind of life decision kind of things.
And you know, you just kind of live with the decisions that you've kind of made, right?
Right.
So we see her story, which kind of tells us not too much other than she's trying to understand what the hell's going on. And, out of all the students that were disappeared, that ran out of their house, only one didn't.
Right.
And he's a classic, very isolated kid.
Yeah.
Skinny, scrawny.
And he keeps showing up to school.
Right.
Even after everybody else in his class had disappeared.
And when they asked him, like, did you know anything about this? He's like, nope, knew nothing.
Yeah.
Turns out that was all a farce. And so then we see a bit of Justine's story, which overlays with Paul's story, and Paul is the police officer.
Oh, the cop, yeah.
And it's kind of funny because he doesn't really have a big part in this, and he's
no. I think it just kind of takes us to where like what is he doing at the end of the movie?
Right.
Why is he
it's
there?
kind of connective tissue, but he's
he's not.
He's not involved
exactly important.
Yeah, he's not really fully involved because he's not an investigator. He's just a cop. He's like
he's just a cop. He's not
street
even
cop.
He's not even involved in the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just knows kind of what's going on.
And he has a history with Justine.
Right. I guess they dated at some point prior.
Something like that.
Yeah. And so we see that point of view, and then we see the point of view of Archer, which is Josh Brolin's character, who's a dad who's one of the kids has disappeared, is one of his kids. One of his
kids.
And I sort of saw him as like sort of the conspiracy theorist, like this doesn't happen to people like me because I'm successful.
Right.
I demand answers and I want answers. And, he's always at the police. He wants to know. He wants updates from the police like all the time. He wants FBI updates. He wants, he's sleeping in his kid's bed because he's just
real
distraught.
Broken up about it. Yeah,
he feels like he should have
protected or helped or something.
Yeah. And if you notice, their house was like really nice. Mm-hmm. And I mean, nice relative to, I guess, what you see in the movie, like not like fancy, just more like,
just nice.
Better than all the other houses.
Yeah.
And then to find out, he's like probably making good money because he's one of the local builders.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of interesting because then he's the one who starts mapping things out. And like I said, feels very conspiracy theory type of person. And then we meet, I guess, the junkie. What was that guy's name?
James?
Oh, yeah, James. Who is also kind of connective tissue, I guess.
But also in the bigger picture, kind of unrelated.
Right, but he is connective tissue to how all these people like overlap.
Like wind up.
Yeah. It's like you have Paul and James who help tie together these different points of view stories, because then they probably wouldn't overlap if it wasn't for some of these people. And so all that leads to the last story, which is like Alex. the little boy,
The little kid who wasn't disappeared.
right? Who it turns out all the kids, all the kids are tied to him,
Right.
and I was going to assume it's like, oh, he's been bullied, and he wants to get back at the bullies.
Right,
And-
right.
Which they kind of show that a little bit.
A little bit, but it's like just generic kind of little kid stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that was a red herring because that's
Yeah.
what I was expecting.
Right,
I was
right.
like, oh, he's been so bullied
Yeah.
that he's used something to
Yeah, you almost
get back
think
at
of
the
like that
kids.
Twilight Zone episode, you know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, where the kid controls everybody.
Right. I thought it was gonna be something like that.
Yeah.
To find out, no, it isn't. It turns out his aunt shows up to the parents because she's sick, and I guess you can assume she has cancer or some sort of
Something that
terminal
she's basically about. She's maybe a few months away from dying.
right. She's
Is
very
it-
frail.
Yeah.
And the parents have decided to take her in,
Yeah.
I guess, to help her.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, she's a witch.
She's a witch.
Yeah, and man, that woman. You you said that's Ed Harris's
Wife. Yeah.
She looked like Ed Harris. Like,
No. No.
I mean, she kind of did. I mean, she's about the same age as Ed Harris. She was very creepy looking.
She's so creepy.
She was great though.
Oh, she was so good. Loved it. Loved it.
She kind of reminded me of like creepy Ronald McDonald from like that weird period in the 70s
Yeah.
when they were kind of drawing him and then
Yeah.
it just didn't seem right. And before they figured out how they wanted Ronald McDonald to look in the 80s, like that creepy period from between the 70s and 80s. That's what she looked like. And it was like one of the more frightening, like, sort of imagery. And I love that too. Of
Yeah,
like,
no, it's super. It definitely sticks out, right?
it's just the classic, I'm a little kid and one of my relatives looks weird and scares me when I see them.
It is kind of funny though. If you're gonna be a witch doing witchy shit, like you would think she would be, she would choose to have something more inconspicuous as far as like, I mean that wig is crazy. First of all,
Well,
and then she
yes.
comes out in that makeup where she basically like, she just smears lipstick on her lips and she's crazy, like you were saying, like clown face makeup almost. And it's like, are you trying to get caught doing your stupid witchy shit? Because it's like, you need to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because then she's walking around the house with a little kind of head wrap. And like, you look semi-normal right now. Why don't you just keep that disguise when you're out meeting the principal? Like, it was so bizarre.
No, well, but I think, like, even when she did show up, I was like, okay, so that's like a wig, right? And then it almost made more sense later when we find out, like, she doesn't have a lot of hair. So I don't know if, like, cancer
Right,
or
right.
whatever has taken her hair. And I was like, oh, yeah, I knew it. But that's what, it almost seems like, you know, I mean, I've met people who have wigs and
Sure,
you
yeah.
can tell sometimes, right?
yeah.
But like you said, it was very intentional, almost like she's like purposely doing that so that
Yeah.
people will be like, I'm not going to ask, but
Or,
also
yeah,
like
I don't want to interact with this person.
Yeah.
Because there's something weird
there's just
going
something
on.
strange kind of going on,
Yeah.
but also I don't know if like it almost like it's so she puts herself in a way that makes it difficult for you to
Right.
be able to ask any questions or
Right.
whatever, right? And so I thought it was really interesting because like yeah, so it turns out she's a witch and she can control people, which I assume, and they kind of mention it in the movie, but I thought it was an interesting title. Like she can control people like weapons. Like somebody said, like a heat-seeking weapon, like a missile.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple things. I think there's a couple different magics I think that she's doing, and one of it is like, I don't know what she's doing, like sucking the life force out of people
Right,
to get
yeah.
better is one of them, and then the other thing is turning them into weapons, and I think that's why they kind of move the way they do
Right.
when she treats them that, because they're almost like
Mindless.
like
Yeah.
marionette, like puppets almost.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like I thought it was interesting because she I guess she probably forced herself onto the parents,
Right.
to say like, hey, you need to take care of me, I'm dying.
Right.
But like, you're right. I think in reality, what she was trying to do was hoping that maybe their life force or something,
like, yeah, I
their
think,
life energy or something. Like, I wouldn't say soul or anything, because
no,
it wasn't really that.
Right.
But she turns the parents into like basically mindless drones.
they're like zombies. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like under her spell, but it almost feels like she's absorbing their energy. So I
Yeah.
guess like their life force, and then,
Something.
so she says to Alex, like, because she's like, I mean, it's creepy because the parents are just kind of like sitting around in random positions and they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh yeah, your parents are just resting. Oh yeah, and you need to feed your parents Campbell soup, like just shove it in their mouth, and like they are like their bodies are operational enough to
need food.
right,
Right.
but their like life force or whatever is non-existent.
Yeah.
And so like they're not sleeping because their eyes are,
Like bloodshot.
yeah, they're just bloodshot and just like,
And every time Alex walks into the room, they're just sitting there
yeah, like staring
at
just
each
nothing.
other or at nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was kind of interesting. She tells Alex like, oh, I thought your parents would be able to help me, because she's like, yeah, I'm sick and I don't have much time. And Alex is like, okay, weird lady.
Yeah.
And she threatens Alex by showing Alex that she's a witch and has magic and can make his parents do whatever
like hurt themselves.
she bids.
basically.
Right. Like, and that was kind of creepy when she's talking
So
to them.
creepy.
I thought that was like one of the better, like if you're a young person to watch this, I mean, it didn't really affect me, but if I was a young person,
Oh yeah.
and I'm watching this like older aunt kind of say like, you see what I can do to your parents, right? Like I can make them hurt each other.
Yes.
I can make them like yell at each other. I can make them she says a couple of things. She's like, I could make your parents eat each other. And
That
I was
was
just
so fucked
that was very Hansel and Gretel, like
yes.
and like to your point of like witches being like witchy. Like that's a
Yeah.
very witchy thing to say.
Yes.
Because who the fuck would think like,
why would you say that?
yeah, why would you say that? And she's like, would you want me to do that? And it's like, you don't want me to do that, do you? And of course, like this small child is like
No.
about to like piss himself and is like, no, I don't want any of that. And so like, it's funny because like I could hear like your normal audience viewer being like, why does the kid just like turn him in? Like, or turn her in, whatever.
Right.
That whole sequence like sealed the deal of like, nope, that kid ain't saying shit.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely not.
like threatening your parents to eat each other is like, wow. Like I haven't been that like, oh shit, that's a new one.
And that was before. I mean, that was obviously already a show of her power. But then and then what she does after, obviously with his classmates, is like, if she can do all of that and maybe also kill your parents, why would you say anything
Right.
to anybody?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, that kid is fucked.
yeah.
And so, yeah, she explains to Alex that maybe he can help because it sounds like she needs more or younger life force that she can absorb that energy.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, why don't you get something from all of your classmates?
And maybe that'll be enough.
And maybe that'll be enough. And like they go into the whole how she does it, which I think also is actually pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
The whole like, she has like a technique and she needs like something from them to be able to do that. But I feel like that's a very like you said, a more classic witchy kind of thing to do where
Yes.
that's not very like you couldn't commercialize the way she did it. It's
I
not
would
like
hope not.
it's not like a cool like
like a little wand or
right,
like a little
what's
charm
what's
or
her
whatever.
face in Marvel Scarlet Witch, like she got a little like red tiara.
Oh yeah.
Like
no, it's not cute.
it's not no, or it's not like a necklace,
Right.
like amulet or something like
Yeah.
that. Like it's it's legitimate old school technique, which
like
was
it's like real, like deep dark magic.
it's
like,
water. Yeah, it was like water
yes,
and earth
and blood and
blood
yeah.
and like something personal from the. So it was like, wow, it's very basic,
yes,
but very effective, and I really like that. So when she shows how she can do that, I thought that was really cool, and that's where the movie gets like super violent. Like
so violent.
there's a lot of gore that I was not. It's
It
funny
kind
because
of it kind of starts just like out of nowhere too. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really like build up to it. It just happens.
I did not like so it's a slow burn movie.
Yeah.
It's clearly something that is intentional. And at a certain point, I was like, man, I don't think it's going to be that bad, but it's still going to be intense. And then I was kind of like, oh no, actually, this is super violent. It's funny because for a while there, I was like, well, is this movie like PG-13 or rated R?
Oh, it has to be rated R.
Oh, no. It's definitely rated R. Like someone's head gets ripped off a couple times actually. And it is everywhere. There's head exploded everywhere. And if it wasn't for those scenes, like I would say like, I don't know if they could give it a rated R because there's not a lot of language.
That's true. Up until that point, there's not a whole lot that happens.
No, it's very like, oh, this is just a mystery movie.
Right.
I really, for a minute there, was thinking like, okay, like this is more of like an intense drama because like I was also thinking back like on Barbarian, there wasn't like clearly the creature in Barbarian or the woman, like she's creepy, but like there's not a lot of violence. Again, I think in a similar way, and it ramps up at the end like big time.
Yeah.
But for the first part of Barbarian, not so much. It was kind of the same deal here. And then by the end, it's like, oh man, so we've seen like 2.5 heads like popped off if you count like being shot in the head. But okay, so here's sort of my take on what I think. I don't know, like it is a witch, it is witchy, but I feel like for me, the underlying story is almost like, and again, maybe this is just a stretch, but it's just like my thought process because of the different generational points of view that I almost feel like it's almost like a form of commentary on like our current like situation with like social media and the poison and misdirection and like how you draw in people and you can control them at a certain point. Much like this woman is she's just controlling people to do mindless things that they like. It just seems like kind of random, right? And people that are like, well, nobody would ever do these things. Like the idea of, well, these kids just ran off. Well, where did they go?
Right.
There has to be an explanation.
Yeah.
Like in modern day, it's like, no, that's not going to fly. And so then you have your Josh Brolin character of like, yeah, no. This isn't a movie. Like, what the fuck? Like, I want answers. I want the police here. I want this. Everything should make sense. And if he can't get it, he's going to get mad he's going to project somewhere else, and he projects on the teacher. And the teacher, we see her point of view is like, I just want to be a teacher, and I I want to live a normal life. But when it turns out, like in the real world, unfortunately, that like if the target falls on you and somehow like people want to, turn their anger towards you, like the internet comes crashing down on you. And much like the town and everybody, it's just like, she's like, everybody hates me. And she's very paranoid about the fact that like, she thinks everybody is just talking about her all the time. And even Paul is like in the bar saying like, you need to like chill out. Like not everybody right now 24/7 is thinking about you.
I can see that parallel.
And it's funny because I didn't even think any of this until we see the witch, and she's like kind of this nutball that's effectively like, if I put this out there, I can control people, and then I can get them to do whatever I want them to do. And I feel like a lot of times that's kind of how a lot of us feel, because it's like, what the hell? Like, where's this coming from? Like, why are people acting this way? It's like, oh, well, because I listen to so-and-so, or I follow whatever. And they almost act a little mindless. You know what I mean? Just doing whatever it is the bidding is of certain people, and there's like a puppet master at the top of it, right? I'm not trying to say that this is all like directly tied to like the White House and Trump and all that, but what I will say is like it just feels like this could be extracted from like parallels of that, and say, why don't we pull that out and then lay it down in the form of a movie and then layer it with other things. And so the sort of the at least the way I saw it is like the underlying messaging of like getting trapped and pulled into just someone's bidding without you even knowing it, right? Because it happens to Josh Brolin at the end. Like it happens to the parents, right? Like they almost like fall under this spell.
Yeah.
Even though they don't realize that it's happening to them. And then when it's over, they just kind of snap out of it. And it's like, whoa, where did that time go? What just happened? And that's like I said, it may be a bit of a stretch.
A little bit, but I see those parallels. So I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I just kind of like...
I can see that.
I felt that by the end. And I say partly because... And I feel like this is kind of where I thought it was very interesting because it is a very tense movie. And then by the very end, people are laughing because the I guess the big reveal or spoiler, right, is like the aunt, I forgot what her name was.
Gladys.
Oh, Gladys. Gladys has all these people under her control, and like she's gripping onto it hard, and she's telling she's telling Alex and other people that she runs into, like she will eliminate them or get them to fall to fall under her spell, or she'll just like eliminate them altogether. But it was just kind of funny to me because by the end, Alex sort of breaks free from, or he mimics what she's doing and is able to break sort of the spell that is on the children, and all 18 children go after her and literally rip her apart like limb to limb.
Fucking nuts.
Which was kind of like, it was sort of like cathartic in some way because it was, for as tense as that movie was, by the end the theater was laughing.
Yeah, because it was kind of absurd.
It was absurd.
It was played to be absurd.
Yeah.
Because she's like running, screaming through the neighborhood. It's kind of comical because it's like weird.
Yes.
And then the kids just screaming furiously after her. And it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Because they're mindlessly nothing other than the
they
spell
have to go
they're
after
under.
it. Yeah.
And destroy her.
Right.
Because it's the same technique that she used on effectively everybody else in the movie.
Yeah.
And they rip her head off. Well, they rip her jaw, upper head off.
Yeah.
And then I think they rip the rest of her apart too.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I feel like there was something cathartic about that, of like someday in our near future, I hope in the next 3 years, that like when the puppet master is sort of revealed, that everybody just goes, I've been duped. And they all go after that puppet master and rip that puppet master apart. And for some reason I felt that, and it felt very cathartic. Like, I was like,
so funny.
Because like, even though she was a witch, I was like I was kind of angry at her because of the way she manipulated people. That's why I guess this is where my feelings kind of come from in my thought process, because it was very, it was very gross, or it was very like, it almost felt kind of real, like manipulative in a way that you could see like somebody, I don't know, like hypothetically, like in the workplace, right? To say like, oh, she's a witch and she gets everybody to do her stuff, her bidding or whatever. Yeah. And it's because she either plays politics or whatever. Like, this was like a metaphor for that, but like they actually, no, she actually is a witch. She can actually do it. And so the way that she did it, and the way she did it to Alex, was like real mean. Like,
yeah, it was really fucked up.
Yeah. And
kind of just, you feel so sad for him, because it's like, you really do see like, oh, he has no avenue to escape this.
Right.
Because she's right. Like, what
she's the authority. She's the adult.
Like, because what can he do?
That.
And then she puts in his mind that like, I'll know if you tell somebody.
Right.
Like, whether that's true or not. Now that's in his mind. So yeah, it's super like
living under this
it's definitely
constant
like
fear.
a mind game,
Yeah.
almost like a mind fuck, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because I can see what you're saying, although it makes me laugh a little bit to think of like Gladys, the old witch, as like, is she like, are you saying she's like an influencer,
Yeah.
like a Joe Rogan?
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's just
It's
OG
just funny.
with
It's
her
just
like
funny
sticks
to me, like
and
what's
sticks and stones.
I want to listen to her podcast. No, I can kind of see that. I do think in a certain way it's a stretch, but you could argue if you were like writing a paper that
Right.
would be like an interesting parallel for sure. I don't know. Like I know that they and it mentions it a couple times in the movies something about parasites.
Oh yeah,
And it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of hard to miss because she talks about it in class, and then the principal is watching it at home with his husband before,
Oh yeah.
before the attack or whatever. So I thought that was kind of an interesting, like, oh, are you saying that she's basically the parasite living off of these people? So in that context, it still works, kind of works with
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Well, because
As
you're
far as,
feeding
like,
off that energy.
yeah, it's like
of,
it's like a person that doesn't care how it's harming everybody else as long as they get what they need.
Right.
So in that sense, the current political climate,
yeah,
it's not that
I
far
mean
off.
that's just how it feels. Yeah, this is just how it feels to me, right? Because
Yeah.
like at a certain point, there's like a wave of people on Facebook that are mindlessly like reposting, redoing
Right,
whatever.
right.
And they're literally like airplane arming their way through Facebook and
Yeah.
and not really thinking, or they just know that whatever this person says, I'm going to repeat it.
Yeah.
To the point where like you're not even thinking about it, right? And
Right.
that's how she's being manipulative to everybody else. So I don't know, like all that to say, like I really, like you were saying, I really like this. I really like that it was a very old school witch story in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Like, like I know I put a big layer of like, of undertone, whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't think most people think that. I think most people are like, she was a witch and she was a crazy witch, and she did all these things.
Right.
And I think that that's exactly what we need right now. Like movies that are like legit scary because they're touching on things that like as a kid, I remember like a lot of the things that that you would be afraid of that I feel like were contextualized for Alex in this movie. And I feel like even in Barbarian, they did that as well too, except instead of little kids, it was like high school kids, right? It's like, it was like getting caught drinking, right? When you're younger, like you kind of want to play on the edge of what you should and should not be doing, but you do it anyways, right? And for them, it's like playing with the afterlife or the occult or whatever, right? With the hand or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like taking it to the edge, but like it's kind of scary. And in this one, it's like a little kid who doesn't even have that opportunity, is just like overwhelmed by like authority above him. That's just like, there's nothing I can do. Like I do it, and I guess this is my life forever. Like I'm gonna go buy cans of soup of Campbell soup.
Poor
and
baby.
like I'm buying like 12 cans a day.
Just having to feed the other kids.
Yeah, and it's just around the house, and, man, it was very, very effective. I'll go on a limb. I mean, I marked it as one of my favorite movies of this year. I don't think it was like my favorite. I really liked it, but I wouldn't say it was like I don't know if it'll make my top 3.
Really?
But it, like in retrospect, when I look back at all of them, it was very effective. Like there were some things about like some of the things that I was unsure. So like, I guess we can talk about this one sequence, and I'd be curious on your thoughts. But like, this is why I think the way I was thinking, because there's a sequence in Josh Brolin's what was his name? Archer. Mm-hmm. In Archer's sequence, when we see things through his point of view, and he's dreaming, and he dreams about his son, and he's chasing his son in the dream, and he kind of like, it's almost like he like parental instinct or something, like he's dreaming because he's able to reach his son, but his son won't talk to him. And then he's still walking around in the dream. And for some reason, there's like an AR like rifle floating over a house in the dream with like the clock attached to it that says 2:17 when all this happened. And I was like, what was the point of that gun? And what was trying to be said here? Like, I get that it's weird.
Interesting because it was maybe like the only time in the movie that it was especially surreal like that.
Well, and he was dreaming. I mean,
well, yeah, but I'm saying like,
right.
It felt a little bit out of nowhere. But somebody on the internet was saying that like, oh, the kid had a poster of a gun in his room where Archer had been sleeping since he was gone. I don't know. I didn't see the poster, so I have no idea. I don't know. It was weird.
It was very weird because I was like, is this some kind of message or metaphor for something about like maybe these kids? I don't know. Like maybe that was like a what do you call it? Like a active shooter that, or I don't know. Like it was like some sort of like this is some sort of metaphor of your children just disappearing one day, or like I was like, where is all this going?
I can kind of see that too, though. I mean, like
it was just weird.
It's not like that far off from like I imagine like it's not. Obviously, it's not. It's the real life version is horrible as far as like you lose children and en masse to something like that. But yeah, it was a really bizarre scene. I don't know what it was trying to say.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's like a note here that says like Archer's son goes missing at 2:17, Matthew 2:17, and the Bible describes the fulfillment of a massacre of children, the slaughter of the innocent. That's why I was like, wait, is this like is that
a biblical thing?
Yeah, or is there some kind of tie-in to some of that? But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I thought that was interesting, but like I said, again, like he was the only one to have that. And maybe there was like a poster in there, but it's like the conspiracy theorist guy or the older guy who would seem like maybe the guy who does listen to Joe Rogan is the guy that's dreaming about having a gun and whatever in his dreams. But I don't know. At the end of the day, like I will say this: I'm glad we watched it on a really big screen, like because there was a lot that happened that I feel like really is emphasized really well on a big screen, and I thought that was really cool. Like we were saying like early on, which is like which also reminds me about one more thing. But like a lot of the way it was filmed and like it maximized the screen. And so seeing a lot of the stuff that we saw on the big screen, like, I don't know, added a level of sort of like creepiness or something to it. I will say though, I feel like there was a slight nod to John Hughes. And specifically,
what do you mean?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off at the very end.
What?
When Ferris Bueller is trying to race home to get home before his parents gets there.
Oh my God, the chase scene.
Yeah, and he's running through the houses. So the children at the end, which is like pretty hardcore because they're under still under
a spell.
They're still under the spell. Yeah. They are like literally running through glass windows,
through houses
and doors and fences.
Screens,
but there's a particular scene where the camera is like sort of on a tripod where the woman runs in, and then like there's a couple having dinner, and then she runs through the kitchen, the dining room area, and then like out the front door, and that there's a scene in Ferris Bueller where he does that exact same sort of, and the camera movement's also very similar, and he's like, hey, he's like, that smells delicious, and then he runs out to the back, and then he's like, dinner's ready. And like he goes to that whole sequence, and then like the camera movement's very similar.
Oh, that's funny.
And so, like I said, I don't know, it's probably a stretch, but I felt that because the camera swings back around and it's following like who's chasing, and the kids come through all the windows. Like,
All the windows.
I mean, it was comical,
It was
but at the same time, it was kind of terrifying.
pretty horrifying, yeah.
But because I guess of the way he probably comes from a background of comedy and the setup for all this, it was just very like, I don't know. It for whatever reason, it reminded me of John Hughes in that end sequence of Ferris Bueller, and how that was kind of comical in that movie, how it almost like kind of was comical in this movie, because she, like you said, she's on the run. All the life force is chasing her, so she has enough energy to kind of get moving.
She does.
But
She
these
just
kids,
get up and go.
yeah, but these kids are kids, and they're missiles like coming in to take her out.
It was kind of funny, the one scene where the Archer character is kind of following the trail of destruction, and one of the ladies in the houses is just like, they made a mess out of everything, and it's like, you never think about that when
Yeah.
you
Well,
when it's like
yeah.
something, just the aftermath of something catastrophic. Like, just imagine owning a house where like 18 kids just ran through,
Yeah.
and like plowed through your windows and your screen doors and whatever. Like, what the fuck? How do you even claim that with your insurance?
Yeah, and it's funny because she was like, they made a mess of everything, and then she's like, there's a man in the kitchen, like, as he like just slowly walks through the house that's been like torn apart.
It's just so funny.
Yeah, they were. It's really funny how like he's very good at keeping that edge, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Man, this is a good one. I'm glad we.
This was super fun. I actually, for my money, it might actually be in my top 5 this year. Maybe my second after Sinners, to be honest, right now.
Yeah, sure. No, I can see that. I think, we didn't record about it. Maybe we'll come back around to it when we talk about movies at the end of the year. But Bring Her Back is...
Bring Her Back's pretty high up there. Yeah.
I think it's ahead of this one for me.
I can see that.
But that was just because that one, like, there was very little, if no humor at all. And I kind of like that because it really kept me on my toes. And this one put my brain in a different mode. Like, I had to kind of...
Really, right?
I had to turn to more like Netflix documentary mode and then wait, what is happening? And then by the end, with the reveal of her being a witch, I'm like, oh shit. Like, didn't see that coming like at all. And I like that because I like my brain just like having to process everything and then being like, oh, that's cool. Like, and I'm glad that we, like I said, like, I'm kind of glad we had that, like, that sort of just, because I felt a little bit that with like Bring Her Back, but maybe more so with this one. So yeah, it's a close call here with this one.
Sorry, both movies with kids in them.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we have to do the last little bit of this.
Oh shit.
Because it's called Film to
I
Table.
hadn't even thought about it. I just wanted to talk about the movie.
No, I know.
That's funny.
You say this every time. But I made the logo, so we kind of have to stick to it at this point.
Okay.
I think mine's pretty easy. I would make a nice version of a Chef Boyardee sort of canned meal. I am not a fan of what was it, the Campbell soup. I hate Campbell soup too.
You hate all of Campbell soup?
There's not any Campbell soup that I like. It's all gross. It's smushy and it's just smushy and gross food. Like, and it fit the aesthetic of this is like, hey, let me feed these mindless people with like mush.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It's garbage. So what I would want is a nice version of that. So like, I mean, you can put it in a can or whatever. I don't care. But like, I would want a nice, like, pasta sort of with a red sauce. Sure, cut it up with hot. You know what? I want I'll take the spaghetti from Jollibee's for this one because like it kind of on the surface looks like it would be Chef Boyardee, but it's actually good and it's not all mushy.
Right.
It's not all soupy.
Yeah.
It's got hot dog chunks in it. And so did Chef Boyardee. And it had hot dog chunks but it wasn't all soupy and gross. I would have that, and I guess I could probably have a Lunchable.
Okay.
You know,
For the kids.
Yeah, for the kids. I could, also because I'm kind of on a diet right now, so I guess I'd have to stick to sort of the Lunchable things.
Yeah.
So like sort of just mostly the protein ham and or not even ham, I guess the like turkey meat or whatever, and then some cheese and the little. I don't even know if that's Lunchable. I'm just making. I think I'm.
I don't know that I've
crafting my
ever
own
had
Lunchable.
a Lunchable.
I have no idea. I don't even know what's in a Lunchable. Now that
I think that's right. That sounds all right. It's like a ham and crackers.
oh, that's
and
right. Yeah, it's like
cheese.
ham and crackers and cheese.
Yeah.
But you can also have one with pepperoni and cheese and crackers, and it's kind of like a.
That's
It's kind of like a pizza.
that's for a special one. That's for Fridays or something.
I guess so. They have a nacho Lunchables. They have oh, this one has Oreos. But yeah, no, yeah, a Lunchable sounds about right. I can see that.
Lunchable sounds good.
So some crackers, cheese, and some like turkey meat. But that would be, because I'm on a diet, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, Jollibee spaghetti.
Okay, word.
I don't know if we've done that one before. We probably should write these
We
down.
might have. We
somewhere.
really should. On the website. Do we have a website?
There's
we
a
should.
top shelf video. I guess I can just do a.
Should have a menu of the stuff that we've made or talked about making.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah. Well, I think mine has to be a soup of some kind. Well, you don't have to eat it. I want to eat it. I haven't made chicken noodle in a while. The last thing I made was like a broccoli soup for my sister because she requested it. She wanted a bunch of nutrients all at one go. It was mostly broccoli, but it was actually a bunch of other green vegetables. Ended up being pretty delicious. She's vegan, but we made it really tasty. But it was I love making like puree soups. So it's still kind of her little stick blender wasn't very strong, so it didn't actually puree it all the way. So it's still kind of chunky, which ended up working out. It's pretty tasty. But yeah, I've made some pretty good soups before. None of which you have eaten because you don't like soup.
No.
But I make a pretty mean butternut squash soup, and yeah, usually that's funny. Actually, now I think about it, I think all the soups I've made recently over the past several years has been for my sister because she's more of a soup person.
Right.
Than even I am. I'll have soup like I don't know once a month maybe if I'm not feeling good, but.
Yeah, I don't ever want you to make me soup. Although
I mean, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when you've made chili or anything, it can be soupy. I just don't like soup.
So not even any kind of like no clear soup. No. Well, you have ramen, which is soupy.
But usually I don't drink the
usually
cheese.
you don't order ramen at a ramen shop.
No.
Usually you have a rice.
I mean, if
bowl.
I do, it's like okay, fine, I'll eat the noodles, but or I'll get like the yakisobe.
Yeah, yakisoba.
Or yakisoba,
Which is the stir fried noodles. Yeah.
Right. I'd rather have that. I mean, I like ramen fine. I mean, I like the Korean hot noodles.
Well, even for that, you get the non-soupy versions.
Well, I mean, you can make them soupy. It's just I don't see the point because then it's cleaning off all the noodles as you eat them.
What did you call when my sisters go to hot pot?
It's just hot ham water. That's all it is. It's just it's just.
I think at one point you were like, so you're just eating dirty water? Right?
Yeah, you're just dumping stuff into like a hot boiling thing of water and everybody's like putting their own meat in there and it's like,
oh my God, sweetie.
It's just hot ham water.
You're lucky I love you.
Well.
Well, more soup for me. So
yeah,
there you go.
There it is. All right, well, I guess time to go get our witchy sticks and witchy.
We still got to clean up the kitchen.
Witchy witch stuff and whatnot.
Witchy.
Yeah. I guess if you like what you're listening to and if we've given you any food suggestions, leave us a review or comments and
Oh.
things on the Facebooks and the.
Smash that like and subscribe. Is that what we're doing?
I don't know.
No. Okay.
And do that, or you can email topshelfvideopodcast@gmail.com. Just address it to Film the Table if you have feedback or comments, or do you like Chef Boyardee?
Send your favorite soup recipes.
Yeah.
We'll make them, not for Eli, but for me.
We'll at least review them. Maybe we'll see if they, pass muster. But this was a good one. Like I said, I feel like we're gonna have to look back at a couple of other things here, but I mean it's August and we're getting ready for spooky season. There were some good trailers. There were some things on there that we're gonna want to see.
Well, we still haven't seen, what is it, Together? We haven't seen
Together.
That's
we
supposed
haven't
to be
seen,
good. I haven't seen 28 later.
28 years later.
Is it years
right.
at this point?
Yeah, that's right. We should do that. And we still haven't seen I Saw What You Did Last Summer still.
Oh.
or whatever. Or
I still saw.
I'm Always Watching
the
You
last summer
every summer. I don't know. I don't know what it's called.
That's right. I forgot that.
But there's a couple of. There's that shark movie. I've been waiting for it to come out on Netflix.
Right. Yeah.
That's supposed to be good. So there's still like a pretty good handful of things.
It's been pretty solid. I mean, I know we were kind of complaining about it earlier in the year, but I think they're just coming out a little bit more. I don't know, staggered.
They're a little
out.
more spread out this year, but that's okay because it's kind of filled in the year, and now it's already August.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right. Well, time to shut things down. And I guess if you enjoy the food, then buy your kitchen staff a round of drinks.
Oh, yes.
And
make sure to tip your waitress.
Or wait staff.
Wait staff, not just waitress. It's 2025, sweetie.
You're the one who just said it. Love you.
Love you too.